What is up, guys? My name is Savage Foxboy, and welcome back to another barely tolerable video. Now, I've always actually wondered why nobody ever made this video, but I'm up to the task and I'm doing it today. So, and this video also took a really long time to make, so please make sure to like and share this video. That would be amazing. And then the other thing I wanted to say is if you hear my voice in the background, I'm very sorry about that. Initially, I wanted to record my voice as I was recording this video, but unfortunately that didn't happen because my voice settings were just turned way, way down and I could not understand myself. So sorry about that, guys, but I do hope that you enjoy this video. In the meantime, please do enjoy. This is every gun, bow, and crossbow that's ever been added into Dying Light 1.
So dirty, but your love so sweet. Talk so pretty, but your heart got deep. Late night devil, put your hands on me. And never, 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 ever let go. So dirty, but your love so sweet. Talk so pretty, but your heart got deep. Late night devil, put your hands on me. And never, 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 ever let go.
The American 9mm handgun. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, this thing looks a lot like a Beretta, which makes it very not American and actually very Italian. Now, this gun is probably known in Dying Light for having not quite as much stopping power as the German 9mm handgun, or actually quite a few handguns, although I really do enjoy how accurate this gun is in both hip fire and ADS. This thing causes a lot of noise, just like any other handgun in the game. You actually find this gun, you can find this gun scattered across the world. You can buy this gun in shops. You can find it in the back of police vans, although that's pretty rare. And then there's other places you can find this gun, but I can't name any off the top of my head. I will say, though, this is a pretty good handgun to use usually. The German 9mm handgun. Now, I think this gun is trying to be an HK USP. So this gun is actually really cool because it does do a lot of damage, and it's also very accurate. There's almost like some kind of an aim assist on this gun. But yeah, it shoots pistol ammo just like the American 9mm handgun, but you can tell it has a little bit more bite to it. I think this gun is actually a lot more common in the world. I think you can find this in a lot more places, and I think it appears in shops just slightly more often. But yeah, it's really cool. It still generates noise, but it's still quite reliable, I think. I'm amazed that I don't see people using pistols in this game very much, because they're actually pretty good. They're actually pretty good as far as it goes. But yeah, it's not bad. It's a semi-automatic 9mm handgun, and it honestly does a pretty good job at what it is supposed to do. So I like this thing a lot. The silenced American 9mm handgun. These things are hard to craft, but you get the blueprint pretty early into the game. This thing just looks like a beer can with foam duct taped around it. But hey, whatever does the job, I guess. Now, this thing does not shoot pistol ammo. This thing shoots subsonic ammo. And you only get the blueprint for that from completing a very difficult bounty called Subterfuge. And if you're having trouble doing that mission, if you're having trouble doing that bounty, then I highly recommend you do Zaid's mission first, because then you get Zaid's flares, and those are just a big help in that mission because they keep volatiles out of a single area. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. The German 9mm handgun. I think the American 9mm handgun that I had before did a little bit more damage than the silenced version did a little bit more damage than the normal version. And I think that just has to do with like the quality of the weapon that I found, but that's okay. The German 9mm handgun does still have quite a bit of bite to it. It still does the stagger that it usually would. Now, if only you could craft suppressor sights, but hey, that's all right. That's the drawback. The anti-gadoid gun. So the anti-gadoid gun is just a giant fancy noisemaker. You get this gun, and the game kind of tricks you into thinking that you can get ammo for it. You can't. This gun shoots air, basically. It is a fancy-looking hose nozzle attached to an oxygen cylinder with a couple of shisha funnels crudely bolted onto it. So it's honestly amazing that it even makes noise. Now, there was this one video on YouTube a long time ago that said if you shoot this thing at a plant, it will start to actually make noise. Now, I don't know if that's true because I haven't tested that quite yet. I just kind of did it, and then this thing does actually make noise. Unfortunately, it doesn't shoot a bullet. So virals will come after you, and this thing isn't actually a mode of self-defense. So, yeah, this thing doesn't do any damage. It's kind of a lose-lose. No damage, no stagger. This thing basically shoots imaginary bullets. So, yeah. I think this gun is actually quite a teaser, and I will go over the actual gun later as soon as I get out of the hospital. The 6-shooter. Now, you only unlock these guns after doing a very complicated mission, but that's okay. The 6-shooter is actually a pretty good gun. There's always this video game joke where a striker fire handgun does kind of less damage than a revolver by default, which is quite ridiculous in real-world logic, but I think this gun actually quite fulfills that. The bullets do pierce through heads. It's a good gun. That death was my fault, not the gun's. Sorry about that. The quick shooter. Who doesn't like a nice engraved gun? So the quick shooter did not get its name by accident. You can see it does still have the bite of a revolver, but it's slightly less accurate. Now you'll also probably notice this thing reloads really quickly, and that is the beauty of a break action revolver. Boom, just reloaded, just like that. It's easy, it's quick, and it still does fantastic damage, like just like that. So yeah, the quick shooter is actually it's kind of a one-of-a-kind gun. It still shoots pistol ammo, but like it's kind of a one-of-a-kind because you also get this in the Thrill of the Hunt missions. It's just one of the other guns that you can get, but I like it a lot. It's cool. Alright, so I think this will be our first DLC weapon. This is called the Dawnlight. It is a break-action musket-looking pistol. It looks like a flintlock pistol, but it shoots silver bullets. And the bullets kind of have like an explosion effect too. Now, I really love the Dawnlight. It does really high damage. It still does quite a bit of noise, but it's accurate and it does high damage, and I'm not really sure what more you can ask for. It's really cool. And it comes in the Van Crane DLC bundle, like the monster hunting bundle, so I really like that. I think that's really cool. I think this gun really fits into the game, and it's honestly just a cool gun. The Last Wish. This is another gun that you can get in game. Don't worry, you don't need to buy a DLC for this thing. You just need to complete a bounty where you do a lot of headshots. And you can do that with a shotgun. It's not that difficult. Now, you'll notice that the Last Wish is not very accurate, so I wouldn't recommend using this gun at long range, but that's okay because it's designed to use at short range anyway. And I say that because this gun has a fun little quirk. Now watch the barrel. The barrel's now red hot. So this gun shoots an explosive round as the last bullet in the chamber. Now it doesn't matter if you reload several bullets in and only get one out or something. Like watch. If I shoot 6 bullets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, look. Explosive round. It's always the last bullet in the chamber. Now it's gonna do a lot of noise, but it's just a really cool gun with a cool quirk. The Vindicator 2000. Now, if you want this gun, it's in the Retro Wave bundle with all the neon weapons. Now, the Vindicator, it does pretty good damage. It's just really not a good gun against virals for some reason. Now, both the Last Wish and the Vindicator, they do both take regular old pistol ammo. And I'm about to run out, so I gotta get some more. But yeah, the Vindicator, it does high damage. It looks like it has a little bit of blast power to it. I don't know if that's true, but it looks like it does. It's very loud, very proud, and very, very bright. Thank you, Jeeves. Alright, so this is the Torn Whisper. Yep, it's a suppressed Desert Eagle. And who doesn't love a Desert Eagle? Not gonna lie, if this gun wasn't suppressed, I would still love to have it anyway. But the Torn Whisper is literally a suppressed Desert Eagle, so it doesn't attract virals, and it does insane damage. It really, really does its job. Doesn't look like the headshots do quite as much damage, but maybe it was just that zombie being really strong. But yeah, this thing shoots pretty fast. It reloads pretty fast. It does high damage and it's suppressed. And honestly, this is my favorite gun in the whole game. It's the Torn Whisper. And you get this in like the Secret Agent pack. So that's cool. And it doesn't shoot subsonic ammo either. This thing shoots regular old pistol ammo, so it's not even really a big drawback. This thing is basically just all power, all cool, and not a whole lot of drawback. So I can see why using this gun in maybe something like Be the Zombie mode would be pretty crazy, but I still don't think this game is a pay-to-play game. Yeah, honestly, the Torn Whisper is just cool. The Consigliere. At least I think that's how you pronounce this gun. I don't know. Anyway, this is an engraved German 9mm handgun. Like I said before, who doesn't love engraved guns? This thing looks like it sacrifices style for a little bit of bite, almost. Maybe it's just the gun that I used to craft it with, but that's okay. This gun is still super stylish, and it looks awesome, and this gun came out of the Godfather bundle, which is really cool. And it shoots normal pistol ammo, does the same amount of noise as a German. The Vulcan combat pistol. All right, we've gotten our first futuristic gun. So the Vulcan combat pistol, once again, just shoots normal pistol ammo. And this thing actually, it's pretty cool looking. It sounds pretty silent, but it still makes a lot of noise. It actually has a burst fire feature to it. It shoots 3-round burst. I don't need to shoot that guy. He's gone. But yeah, if you're trying to fry zombies, this is the gun you use to do it with. I'm telling you. Like I said, it still attracts virals, but hey, this thing is still... The V40 suspender. Okay, this thing is super cool. It's not just another futuristic pistol. This thing actually has a fun little quirk to it. Now, this thing actually does quite a bit of damage. As you can see, it's got a lot of stagger to it, but this thing has a cool little feature to it. Boom. This thing, the last bullet in the chamber shoots a stasis field projector. Yep, it's the grenade that makes everything levitate in thin air, so you can just pop it. Yeah, it's super cool. I can't remember which bundle this came in, but it's honestly a lot of fun to use. The V40 suspender, it doesn't get its name by mistake. It shoots regular pistol ammo, but it looks like the gun has a little... The gun looks like it has different plans for the last bullet in its chamber. So yeah, it's really cool, and it doesn't matter if you do it on virals, anything. It can really suspend just about anything up there in the air. So yeah, it's really cool. The Pup. This is a reskin of the German 9mm handgun. Yeah, another one. But this thing's cool because it has Rice's signature on it. So if you wanted to become a Rice dog, then this is the gun you use to do it with. There's another one in the Rice bundle. God, what's the name of the Rice bundle? I don't remember, but it is still really cool to have this gun. It doesn't look like it sacrifices damage for style like the other one that I had, but it's honestly, it's cool. It's got a nice color scheme to it, and yeah, get out of here, buddy. Brecken's runner. Do you not see the gun I'm holding? Oh yeah, you guys know it. It's the Uranophobic Fabaceous Orithnomancer. I couldn't make that name up if I tried. But yeah, if that name is hard for you to pronounce, you can conveniently call it the UFO gun, because that's what its name spells out. But this gun, yeah, it looks like the anti-Godoy gun, but it does something super cool. It actually shoots real bullets, and they do this. Turns everything it shoots into a rocket. Yeah, and you can shoot virals with it too. Everybody knows how annoying they are. But yeah, it's super awesome. In order to get this gun, though, this is one of, if not the most ambitious Easter egg weapons that you can get in this game. In order to get it, you have to go to the countryside and find 15 rocks hidden around the map. And the rocks are very, very well hidden. Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway, the rocks are very well hidden. Then you got to place them in sort of like a crop circle in a broken attic somewhere. And then aliens abduct you, and then they play around with you, and then they drop you in the middle of nowhere with this gun. So yeah, it's really cool. I definitely recommend trying to get this gun. But if you want me to show you where all the rocks are, you're out of luck. I'm not doing that. I spent a whole night trying to do that, and it took every ounce of my patience. But if you want to see the video that I watched in order to do it, I will link it in the description. You guys can see it yourself. But yeah, I still really like this gun. I still think it's really fun to play with. You actually craft the ammo for it. It doesn't shoot pistol ammo. You have to craft uranophobic fission cores. And yeah, it's super cool. It's super fun to play with, and honestly, just having it is an achievement. All right, it's Rice gun time. That sounded cooler in my head. Anyway, so we're gonna use Rice's gun now. It is a very shiny German 9mm handgun. Yes, another one. And but this thing is not your normal one. See, it has a burst fire feature to it. It shoots in 3-round bursts, which means conveniently it eats up a whole lot of ammo. But it is still really powerful. This thing still shoots. Every bullet does the same amount of damage, unless like the recoil carries it up into the zombie's head. But yeah, this thing's cool. You get it through a pretty easy mission. It's not terribly difficult. It's a pretty easy side mission. But yeah, this thing is cool. It uses normal pistol ammo, and it does pretty good damage. This thing is just cool to have. Alright, so now that we're starting with the bows and crossbows, what better to do that with than the bow? Yep, the default bow, the one that you start with. Golly, man, are these virals gonna leave me alone? This thing doesn't even make noise. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so basically what this thing is, it's just your normal bow. You charge it up. It has a charge damage feature. You can aim. You can zoom in with it, but I don't know if I want to call it aiming down sights, because this thing by default does not have sights to it. But the crosshair is pretty accurate. However, if you forget the arrow drop-off range, then you're never going to hit what you aim at. But yeah, it is pretty good. And at the beginning of the game, all right, we got the crossbow now. It's got the same advantage that bows have, which is that you can change the arrows to have like elemental effects, I think is what the game calls them. Again, with these virals, man, who keeps throwing these in here? I'm not making any noise. But as you guys probably know, the only way to get the crossbow is to go to the countryside. Now, unfortunately, it takes some doing. But this gun is still silent. I can use impact arrows. I can use whatever arrows I want. Or they're called bolts if it's a crossbow, but I still call them arrows. Anyway, I can use a stun bolt. Watch what that does. Boom. Can't even move. So yeah, it's pretty good. The crossbow, it does a lot of damage, and it does a lot of damage, and it actually has a pretty good. It's actually a pretty good early game weapon in the countryside. So yeah, I recommend it. 9 out of 10 would recommend. All right, the Heart Piercer. This is the first DLC crossbow that I think I ever got. The Heart Piercer does just a little bit less damage, but it still does pretty good, like headshot damage. What do they call that? Body part damage multiplier. It still adheres to that pretty well. Now, if I could hit this guy once with one bolt, please. I'm just going to use impact bolts because this guy's annoying the shit out of me. But anyway, basically the Heart Piercer, it has a slightly more medieval look than the normal crossbow. Despite having a skeleton stock, I'm not really sure I understand that part very much. But I do still love this gun. It looks like it has some gold on it. The LED meta bow. It's good that the Dying Light devs know what appeals to a gamer, even though almost nothing that I have is LED. But anyway, the LED meta bow, it's basically just a fancy looking bow that glows with RGB lights in the night. It's got batteries strapped to it, which clearly never run out because the lights never go out. This is what it looks like in the night. It does glow pretty well. Let me show you. Let me throw this on the ground and show you real quick. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. This thing still doesn't have sights on it, but honestly, it does look pretty cool in the dark. This thing comes in the same pack as a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, it's really cool. and you can swap arrows on it too. The Ranger Bow. I gotta be totally honest with you. I don't like this thing very much. It's not very accurate. Now, this thing is the only thing that makes this thing super special is the fact that it has sights on it. And if you don't know how to use bow sights, basically they are for drop off range. So like the higher the arch, the more drop off there's going to be. So like the lower you go, so you go lower on the spikes, whatever those are called. They probably have a name, but anyway, so yeah, this thing really isn't very accurate as far as I know. The crosshairs don't help you very much, and I guess it doesn't do a whole lot of damage for the accuracy that it has. So honestly, not a fan of the Ranger Bow, but maybe somebody out there is and could explain better in the comments section. Maybe what it's better at doing, what you can use it for a little bit better than I can. But yeah, it's not bad. It just shoots regular arrows, and yeah, it's kind of got its own thing going. The Gust of Wind. So you get this thing in the I don't know, the Chinese weapon pack. This will be the only crossbow that you can get from it. I like this thing. It's got a lot more, it's got, I guess, a more unique take on a crossbow skin. It's actually, it does pretty good damage as well. But I guess the rule of thumb is just paint it red and gold and suddenly it's Chinese. But anyway, jokes aside, I think this thing is pretty good. It's got definitely a good style going for it because it actually works well with, I think, everything that's in the pack, especially with the Lunar New Year pack. The Lunar New Year pack that I'm talking about is free on Steam. This one isn't, but I think the definitive edition is on sale right now on Steam. Either way, it is. This gun is an inexpensive way to shoot things in style and add maybe a little bit of a little touch of culture to your zombie killing. And you can still change you can still change arrows on it. It's pretty good. It does 500 damage conveniently. And it does really good headshot damage, I think. It's pretty accurate as well. I can just hip fire with it. So yeah, I like this thing a lot, honestly. This thing is super cool. The Bozak bow. I can't even tell you how long it took me to get this thing. This you only get this thing when you complete the Bozak horde, and man, that took me so much practice to do. I think I practiced for, what was it, 3, 4, 5 days respectively. There's also some kind of a weird bug with this thing where you actually shoot 2 arrows. Like, because the first time I got this thing and started trying it out, I was picking up 2 arrows off the ground instead of 1. I don't know what triggers that. I haven't been able to get it to do that since, but this thing does still have sights on it, and I think I think this thing is more accurate than the Ranger Bow. And I think it does more damage too, but I'm not sure. Either way, I like this thing a lot. This thing is, it is cool, and like many guns in this game, it's just an achievement to have this thing. So let me snap this unicorn's neck right now. Yeah, this thing, it doesn't have any super duper special features, unless there's something I'm missing about it shooting 2 arrows. Maybe somebody in the comment section can help me, but yeah, it's a super cool thing to have just on its own. And the Bozak horde is super difficult, and if you want me to kind of just show you how I beat it on solo, just let me know in the comment section, and I can turn that into a video. Like I'll tell you everything that I learned through there. But this, yeah, one thing I know, this Bozak bow is definitely worth the price. Every second I spent on that was worth it. Okay, real quick, here's an honorable mention for a weapon that no longer exists. As of today, the Dragon's Breath bow is impossible to get because the docket code that they gave us no longer works, and right now it is completely unfeasible, if that's even a word, to get the Dragon's Breath bow. I couldn't even get this footage. This footage is actually from Best Gamer Ali, so please go subscribe to him. That would be great. If I could, I would showcase this, but unfortunately, I gotta leave that up to him. The double barrel shotgun. It wouldn't be a zombie game without a double barrel shotgun. Now this thing is mean. I'm telling you, it's mean. Like this thing shoots 2 shells, 2 12 gauge shells. I'm guessing it's 12 gauge, but we never actually know. And I'm using a variant called the Rusty shotgun, so if it looks different from what you remember, that's probably why. But this thing is pretty much everything you want in a gun. It's high damage, low cost, and it's high accuracy too. If you need to go up at close range and battle a whole bunch of zombies, then aiming for the head with this thing is pretty rewarding usually, except for when the spray doesn't quite go into the head. I'm pretty sure this game uses hit scan with the shotguns. I would have to check and verify that, but I'm pretty sure this game uses hit scan. Now, either way, you don't have to travel to the countryside in order to get this thing. You can find this thing around Haran, just by default. The sellers usually sell this thing too, so yeah, it's not bad. If you don't mind the virals, then this thing is super handy. Okay, now we're getting serious. This is the semi-auto shotgun, and it is actually the variant called the Rusty Spine. All of the, what are they called, the 10 and 12 weapon skins? I'm not counting those just because. But this thing shoots really fast, as you can see. It's I think the most powerful weapon in the game, personally, because it shoots super fast, does high damage, and the ammo is relatively inexpensive. So yeah, it's a gun that you definitely would regret not having. And I think a lot of YouTubers in the early days of Dying Light: The Following, they kind of skipped out on using this. But I like this thing a lot. This thing can take down demolishers if you let it. And it's actually pretty easy to find as well. It's pretty easy to find one of these things. The sellers usually sell them, and you can find them in military ammo crates. And actually, there's one right by the warehouse kid mission in the Mad Max car that they were building. You can actually find one in there, but I highly recommend you just buy your own, because they are they're really powerful. They're definitely worth the extra bucks. Okay, so remember when I said the semi-auto shotgun was the most powerful weapon in the game? This is the most badass gun in the game, I think. This thing shoots explosive rounds out of its barrels. This thing, it basically just shoots explosions. The Hellbeast is crazy. Also, I just love pipe guns, usually in video games. Not necessarily Fallout 4, but in video games, I usually just love a pipe gun aesthetic. And this thing is it definitely fits that because it's badass. Those orange circles on it actually do glow in the dark. So yeah, this thing is definitely worth having. I like this thing a lot. You craft it. You don't need a gun to craft it, so it's pretty cool. The HTU Dispatcher shotgun. So we got a pump action shotgun. and it is pretty effective. As you can see, this thing really slaps. This thing really slaps virals. Like it hits them every time. It has pretty high damage. The spread is pretty narrow. I like shotguns with a narrow spread usually. So yeah, I like this thing. It also just looks kind of snappy. It's like a shotgun that Neo would use in the Matrix. And it definitely fits in the, what was it called, the Haran Guardian DLC. Either way, this thing is super cool, and it really fits with the bundle. The Oathbreaker. So this is a shotgun with a very classic feel to it. And you get this in, what was it, the Sheriff bundle? I don't know why I can't remember the names of the bundles, but yeah, this thing, it's just basically a double barrel shotgun with a very classic aesthetic to it. And if you like that, then this gun is for you. It actually has a pretty high spread, so I don't know why I'm aiming down sights with it so much, but the buckshot spread is actually pretty. It's really wide. But yeah, this thing is it's still got pretty good damage. But I'm out of ammo. The Bullseye shotgun. This thing has a sort of different look to it. I guess more of like an antique, because it's got a sort of bronze and maple wood. But yeah, look, the spread on this thing is super narrow. Like that hole from earlier was maybe half a foot wide. So by contrast to the Oathbreaker, this thing actually has a really narrow spread. So I like it. I think it's definitely I think it's quite enjoyable. I like the look that it has. But yeah, if you just love the cowboy look, then the Bullseye shotgun will definitely complete your arsenal. The hunting shotgun. So this gun is trying to be a Remington 870 as far as the Dying Light Wikipedia is concerned. But this is the only pump-action shotgun that you can find in the game itself, and you don't have to buy a DLC for. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage without, like, headshot damage. It isn't bad, though. It definitely isn't bad. It's got a really cool look to it, and if you like a pump action shotgun to maybe help you with your ammo consumption, that way you don't just ammo dump your 12 gauge into one crowd of zombies, then yeah, that's what I see the hunting shotgun being good at. It shoots the same amount. It's the same kind of shotgun ammo as all the other shotguns in our video today. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool to have one of these in game if you don't already. There's one in the in one of the ammo, or one of the military crates that Jazir gives you the key card for. And I can't remember off the top of my head exactly which one, but definitely one of them. And yeah, this thing is lucrative. The Ox Cannon shotgun. Yeah, I love this thing so much. Remember how I was talking about the Lunar New Year bundle that's free on Steam? Yeah, this is in that, and it is completely free. And man, this thing is so much fun to play with. It ignites almost every other thing that it shoots, and almost everything it doesn't kill. It's high damage. It's super quick reload. And I can't remember. I think it uses normal shotgun ammo. But yeah, you don't need to do anything super crazy. You just need a double barrel shotgun in order to craft this thing. But man, this thing is so much fun to use. I'm gonna be playing with this thing a lot. The Flea SMG. Definitely a reminiscent of the Uzi. Now this thing is the first SMG that you actually pick up in the countryside. I have to be here in the countryside because this is the only place where you can actually buy submachine gun ammo. But yeah, this thing has very distracting sights to it, but it's got very high fire rate. Now you would think in the game that submachine guns would just shoot pistol ammo really fast. No, that's not the case at all. They have their own submachine gun ammo. I like to think that the pistols are 9mm while the submachine guns are 45 ACP. That's just me though. But the Flea in particular shoots really, really fast. And it's pretty accurate, but it's not super accurate. And it actually doesn't do a whole lot of damage per shot. But yeah, if you really need a submachine gun and you need to just whittle down a zombie, it's good. The barrel submachine gun. So the barrel SMG is not a whole lot like the Flea because it actually, I think, is more accurate. What was that? It's more accurate, and I think it does more damage too. Now this thing is clearly trying to be a bastard child of the Intratec Tech 9 with the barrel and an M3 grease gun, according to the wiki. And this thing actually, it's really, I like this thing a lot better than the Flea because, I don't know, the continuity is kind of broken. It does more damage and I think is more accurate. So I honestly don't know why you would use the Flea over this thing. But yeah, I like this thing a lot. It's definitely a gun worth having. The Greaser. You get this thing in the Diesel Punk DLC bundle. Now this thing shoots its own ammo, and the ammo's super duper cheap. It's like a couple of metal parts and a saw blade for 60 bullets. It's really cool. Now it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's definitely good for early game because you don't need another gun to craft it. You can just build this gun with parts from around your house. It's a bit like the Looty. Although it's a lot more accurate than the Looty. Yeah, so this is the Greaser. I like this thing for early game, not so much for late game. As you can see, it doesn't do a whole lot to these zombies. But in the early game, it does a lot. So that's good. Yeah, so it's from the Diesel Punk bundle, which is just a cool bundle to use in general. And yeah, I like the Greaser. The Vendetta, another engraved gun. And I think this is going to be the last engraved gun that we have today. But yeah, this is definitely a reskinned Flea. As you can see, it's got some bite to it. It definitely has some stopping power. At least stagger, maybe not damage so much, but it definitely has more stagger than a regular old Flea. And it does still shoot your regular old submachine gun ammo. But yeah, I like it a lot. This is in the Godfather bundle, the same bundle with the Consigliere. And this is definitely a gun worth having. Soaring Death. Where does this gun get its name? I have no idea. But the reason that I like the Soaring Death is because it looks, to me anyways, a bit like a UMP. It doesn't shoot a whole lot like a UMP, and also Kyle Crane doesn't hold it very much like a UMP. But it's in the Secret Agent bundle, the same bundle with the Torn Whisper, and relatively inexpensive. You do still need a submachine gun in order to craft this thing, and I think I crafted it with a pretty weak flea, so that's why it shoots a lot like the flea right now. But yeah, the Soaring Death, it uses submachine gun ammo. You don't craft your own ammo for it. It uses the same submachine gun ammo as most submachine guns that we have. So yeah, the Soaring Death, if that's your thing, it's definitely worth having. The custom SMG. All right, so if you love Rust, then you're probably gonna recognize this gun because this came in the Rust bundle. And if you want the Rust bundle and have absolutely no money to your name, don't worry because the Rust bundle is totally free on Steam. Now, the custom submachine gun, it's just another good for early game gun. But as you can see, it doesn't do much damage. But it does have a lot of stagger, and it does make a lot of noise. So I think it's kind of satisfying just to hear this thing shoot. That's just me though. But yeah, I like the custom submachine gun. It just has a cool look to it, and if you love Rust, then you're definitely gonna be a fan of this gun. The police rifle. This is a default gun. This is a gun that you just find around the world. So the police rifle is semi-automatic by default, and it has and it shoots rifle ammo. This is actually the preferred gun I find for many Dying Light gamers because it's semi-automatic. It's easier to control the recoil, although it actually does shoot pretty fast if you spam the trigger. And usually this thing does damage, but again, I'm playing in late games, so maybe the zombie shooting isn't quite as accurate as it should be. Now, if you're fine with the virals and you're fine with running into a sign like I just did, then yeah, you're gonna love the police rifle. It has quite a bit of bite to it. A lot of headshot damage, at least on virals, as you can see here. A lot of guns will insta kill on the head, but I guess not submachine guns quite so much. Yeah, the rifles are definitely higher caliber. They definitely have a larger damage range. And I'm almost certain that all the rifles use hit scan. But yeah, this is the police rifle. It's slightly easier to control than the military rifle, and I think that's why it's the preferred choice for a lot of Dying Light players. The military rifle. So as opposed to the police rifle, this thing shoots a lot faster because this thing is fully automatic. Unlike the police rifle, which is only semi-automatic. You also notice it has different sights. I don't really know what the assault rifles in this game are trying to be, but I can look it up. But so can you. Anyway, so yeah, the military rifle is fully automatic. Does it do more damage? I'm not really sure. Usually it doesn't. But like if we're counting on damage per second, I would think yes, it usually does. So yeah, I think the military rifle is good if you have a really a really big crowd of zombies in front of you. The marksman rifle. Not gonna lie, I was really hoping that this thing was gonna be like a long rifle, but hey, that's okay. We don't get a whole lot of guns in this game with a dot sight instead of an iron sight. So honestly, I'll take this. I'll take this. But yeah, this thing does a lot of damage. I like this thing a lot. It's got a lot of damage. It's got a lot of headshot multiplier damage. So yeah, this thing, it does 368. Okay, that's not bad. But yeah, I like this. The sights are really accurate. The problem is if you shoot too fast, then the sights the sights are they definitely the recoil brings it off. But yeah, I like this thing. It's stylish, it's accurate, and it does a lot of damage. The Alpha. So this is the other gun that's in the Rice bundle. And it is a police rifle with rice paint on it. And it's really cool, I think. It still does quite a bit of damage, just like the police rifle. So if you're looking for a police rifle but with a little bit more aesthetic, then I think the Alpha will be good for you. I mean, I did always think that the assault rifles in this game they were a little bit bland. The Alpha definitely changes that. It does still shoot assault rifle ammo, yeah, it's, I think, pretty cheap to craft. I think you just need a police rifle to craft it. The Huron Inmate Rifle. So honestly, the Huron Inmate bundle is pretty unique. Now, I like this rifle because even though it's a police rifle, it's fully automatic. So apparently it was jury-rigged in prison to be full auto. I like that. I think that's cool. It's, I think the sights on this thing shooting in full auto is, I don't know if I'd say a welcome change, but it's definitely a curious development. They honestly don't do too bad. I think the military rifle sights were meant to not be obstructive so that you can see what you're dumping a full mag into. This thing has no such luck, and I don't know, it's unique. It definitely has a different feel than your average rifle in this game. Sorry, I had to get more ammo. Anyway, so this is the Volcatronics rifle. And yes, it just looks like a rifle with a soda can strapped on it. But these sights are functional. And they shoot definitely not rifle ammo. If you notice that sound, it sounds like it shoots like electric bullets. So this thing seems like a rail gun almost, although it definitely doesn't look like one. And it does do area damage as well, so it's not full auto, but it does do area damage, and I think that's really cool. Now, if you're wondering if it makes noise, yes, unfortunately it does. And despite shooting electronic particles, it does use normal rifle ammo. So, yeah, but the sights definitely work, and the area damage is a welcome change. So, yeah, the Volcatronics rifle, it is definitely a keeper. I like it a lot, and I will continue to use it. The Snowstorm. This is, I think, one of the most unique rifles in the game. We've seen a lot of rifles that are just reskins, but this thing is a grenade launcher that shoots, I guess, liquid nitrogen cylinders. And this thing is cool because we don't see a whole lot of grenade launchers. Okay, watch the friendly fire. Definitely be wary of the friendly fire. But yeah, so the only thing I'll say in opposition to this gun is that the ammo is really hard to craft. Is that a blueprint? Never mind, that's not a blueprint. Sorry, I thought I missed a blueprint. Anyway, so yeah, the ammo is really hard to craft, and this thing in general is not that easy to craft. But yeah, this thing is definitely cool. Get out of here. And if you go to the countryside, you'll notice that there's a lot of new blueprints that freeze enemies, which is something you don't usually find in the normal game. But yeah, this thing is just a gun that freezes enemies. That's cool. The Rust Assault Rifle, also in the Rust bundle. But yeah, this thing is super awesome because it because it just looks like an AK to me. I'm not quite sure what variant, but I don't think it's the 47. Anyway, this thing is full auto, but it's got very slow fire rate. And definitely it's got some bite to it. Maybe not a whole lot of damage, but definitely it does a whole lot of stagger damage. And the headshots are definitely quite brutal against these zombies. It does make a lot of damage, and it doesn't always kill on first hit. But yeah, Rust Assault Rifle, I like it a lot. I think it shoots pretty well. The Winter Storm. Honestly, there's not a whole lot that's really special about this gun. It's just a military rifle. It's full auto, and it's got a really cool skin on it. This is mainly just a gun to fit aesthetic. Now, yes, it does, I think, do a whole lot of damage, but I think that's probably just the gun that I used to craft it with. Get off me. In fact, get out of this world. Get off this planet. Anyway, yeah, the Winter Storm. It's a military rifle. It's got the sights. It's got the fire rate. And it's got some really good damage. It's also got the noise. Gosh, can you get these virals away from me? Man. The HTU Guardian rifle. Now this is a pretty interesting gun because it doesn't look like any gun that you would normally find in this game, and it's a burst fire rifle. So again, with the burst fire guns, there's not a whole lot of call for a burst fire gun in this game, which is why Rice's gun probably isn't used quite as much as people think it would be. But yeah, there's just not a whole lot of call for a burst fire rifle because the recoil on this thing is brutal, and unfortunately makes them stagger quite a bit. So the fact that it has so much stagger is probably its biggest weakness. The Vulcan Combat Assault Rifle. Now this gun does have a suppressor on it, so this thing is silent. Now, it doesn't sound like it shoots bullets, but it does. It definitely shoots bullets. Those virals are here from earlier. This gun really is quiet. Don't worry about the virals. But yeah, the sights work. Again, another gun with working sights. Gotta love them. They're usually rifles. they're never pistols. And I mean like holographic sights. I don't mean iron sights. All right, last but not least, we have the V40 Eraser. Now this gun is crazy. This thing looks like it actually uses bullet instead of hit scan. And it might actually, to be honest with you. It looks like it probably might. But anyway, this thing is loud. It sounds quiet, but it's actually loud. And this thing will likely set enemies on fire instead of just kill them. Now, the reloading is really slow. I'm not sure why he looks at every magazine before he loads it. But yeah, I think this gun's really unique. It came in the same bundle as the V23 Suspender. But yeah, I like this thing a lot. This thing is, it definitely does its job. Like it's setting enemies on fire, and the sights are accurate. So yeah, it does still use rifle ammo as well, if you're wondering. But yeah, 9 out of 10 would recommend. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This video is long enough, so I don't want to make the outro lengthy. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. This video took a lot of time to make. Yeah, please just make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. Thank you one more time, and stay safe out there.